the power of outside, because we've talked a lot about people doing exercise and lots of people replacing exercise. But again, that seems like a really hard task that people are suggesting that that's it, I'm going to go running, I'm going to go to the gym, I'm going to go and do and burn this many calories.
Yeah.
But there's something different about being outside and the pleasure that can bring and the benefits that can bring.
Yes,
and I know you're good at that.
Yes, I'm really good at that. One of the joys of my life is spending weekends camping in the woods. Yes.
It's a bit like kale for me. Though.
Yeah. Yeah, opinion dividing. I'm not suggesting. It's actually really cold this weekend. I've got a down sleeping bag. I'm actually thinking about camping out on Saturday night somewhere, but that's because I'm not normal. So
be one. You don't have to camp. We're just going to talk about being outside.
No, we're just going to talk about being outside. We spend an enormous amount of our lives inside. The place where I go to work every day in an office is in a tower block in Canary Wharf. I'm not a banker, I should feel at pains to say. But I know people, I work with people who leave their houses, they get in their car, they drive to a station, they get on a train, they go down into the tube, and at Canary Wharf is weird, but at Canary Wharf you can actually get from the tube station to your desk without going outside. And then they leave their desk at lunchtime, they go down into the underground shopping centre, they find lunch, they go back to their desk. They go, and they do that in reverse at the end. They go back into the tube, back onto the train, back in the car, and they're home. And they've never been outside at any point in the day. And actually, at this time of year, that means you can not only have never been outside, but you can have never experienced sunlight on your skin. So you've got vitamin D problems. Really spend some time outside every day from that point of view, if nothing else. But actually, taking a break from whatever's going on and just stepping outside, just the physical act of stepping outside, spending 5 minutes, feeling your feet connected to the ground, looking up, looking at the sky. The sky is particularly beautiful this time of year. The weather is super clear. It's very cold, wrap up warm, but just spend some time enjoying the surroundings that you have. Start to notice things, even in the densest urban environments, you'll notice little blades of grass coming up between cracks in pavements, or you might hear a bird singing.
There's actually always something different to see.
Yeah, or you might hear a bird singing, or you might notice the sensation of something that you touch in your back garden, or even an alley, or whatever. There's lots of sensory stuff that you can get from outside, and actually just spending some time outside in quiet, focusing on your breathing, just noticing what's going on around you is an incredibly calming thing to do. And I would really encourage you, just as a real starter, just at the beginning and end of your day, before you rush anywhere, just take some time to stand at your doorway, wherever that is, just for 5 minutes, 3 minutes even. Just notice what's going on before you go into the world, and then at the end of the day, do the same before you kind of gather in. I have found that sense of connection with the outside, that connection with nature, one of the most beneficial things that I do. I can't really speak more highly of it.
Because a lot of people talk about, when they've got that urge to have a drink, they open the door and go out for a walk, and that's not an incredibly natural reaction for any of us to do. Actually, our natural reaction is to hunker down and hide our discomfort within our own four walls where we feel quite safe. And so you might need to make yourself do that and add yourself a level of discomfort. The other thing is you did some mindful walking bits with us last year.
Yeah.
And does it help to go out with a sense of purpose or the sense to learn something or do something guided? I know we should all be able to go out and walk unaided and not need to have anybody tell us what to do. But is there any benefits to doing that?
I think there are some benefits. I think often, if you just think about the moments in your day where you've walked somewhere, we often walk with an end in mind. We need to be at the bus stop to get the bus, or we need to be at the school gates because the kids are coming out at 3:30 or whatever it is. And actually, we don't notice what what's happening in the process of walking. We're not actually in any real way connected with where we are in the journey. There's something about a mindful practice which encourages you, whether you're sitting quietly in a room, focusing on the sensations in your body or your breath, or a mindful practice which is about walking and connecting with the ground beneath your feet and what's going on around you, which is actually, it's a very calming thing to do. And so I do think it's worth thinking about doing walking, not just as a means to get somewhere, but a thing in itself. It's a challenging thing at this time of year. It is cold. You're going to need a coat and a scarf and a hat and gloves. But actually, spend some time.
But it's not Everest.
No, it's not Everest.
I'm having Everest flashbacks.
Oh, goodness me. We saw the film Everest. Just if you haven't watched it, don't. It's terrifying. But there is something about just even taking yourself to a local park.
Yeah.
Your local park's going to have a path going around the outside of it. Just spend some time consciously, slowly, walking the circuit of your park and observing what's going on. And I defy you to not feel better by the end of it.
I also like talking to random strangers when I'm walking.
Yeah.
When I see people jogging, saying hello, well done, make me feel bad, all that sort of stuff. That it's those little tiny connections that that actually are a thrill in my day. It's not, so sometimes that's quite nice as well.
Yeah.
Because you can surprise people when you talk to them anyway. So it's quite nice.
Yeah. Yeah. There's also a really nice practice which I kind of offer, which is the idea of a sit spot, which is the idea
that a naughty step.
It's not like a naughty step. It's much better than a naughty step. Is that you find somewhere outside, somewhere you feel safe and comfortable. So it might be a bench in your local park, or you might have a patch of woodland and a stump that you can go and perch on, or something. Just go and spend 15 minutes sitting there, doing nothing else other than observing what's going on around you. Spend some time with your eyes closed, noticing what direction sounds are coming from. Notice what you can see. And then go back to the same place, maybe a week later, maybe 2 weeks later, and notice what's different. Apart from anything else, it gives you a sense of connection with place, which is really good for us. A lot of us can feel very unrooted at times. So having a place outside which feels like yours is a good thing. But also you get to see changes during the course of the year, which is an amazing thing.
I often wonder, when you see benches dedicated to different people who have died, I began to think that we might be the generation where none of us have got a favourite bench.
Yeah. Because none of us take the time to sit down.
Because the thought of sitting there for 15 minutes without touching my phone is already breaking me out in hives, which tells you something, doesn't it? How do you not pick up the phone?
You leave your phone at home.
Okay, I'm just struggling with some concepts now. Cool.
Yeah, the world can wait. If it's time for you, and this is true whether you're having a warm bath or you are doing something nice for yourself at the end of the day, or you're cooking dinner, or any of the good things which you're going to want to do at this point in the month, the world can wait. Spend the time and do nice things.
And it's great because it's being outside that doesn't involve jogging or any of those things that we pressure ourselves to do. It's just about walking. Yeah. And that's about your mental health. It's not about your physical health.
Yeah. I mean, it can be about your physical health as well. Yeah. That's important to say. I mean, it's one of the kind of the revelations.
Her Nike jawbone on.
Yeah. I mean, one of the revelations I had for myself last year was that I hate running. I've always hated running. I don't know why. I put myself through the pressure every now and again of trying to put on a pair of shorts and trainers and going for a run. I hate running, but I love walking. And actually, so one of the things that I did last summer, where I was living and where I was working, it was a 2-hour walk. So actually, some mornings in the week, I'd get up at 6:30, which is about the time that people might get up if they were thinking of going to the gym, and I'd walk to work. I could stop for coffee on the way. But actually, I walked 10 kilometers before my day started, and I felt fantastic. So think about activity, not just in terms of getting healthy. Again, that's not forget that. But actually, do the things that you love, and do more of them, and do them.
My walk to work was 2 hours, and I did it a few times. I know the Mile End Road very well, but the number of times I stopped and I walked around something else and came back onto the main road and went into an art gallery, and
yeah.
the number of people I knew I bumped into, which is
Mhm.
also ridiculous, bearing in mind how big London is. But it can happen, and
Yeah.
and this January I've now brought a whole. I'm on somebody else's platform for walking on weekends away to try and do a little bit more of that. Because like you, I'm not so keen on the running.
No, doesn't
I
work
like
for me.
I don't mind the idea of running in order to walk better. If you see what I mean,
Yeah.
like up some hills. But the
Yeah.
thought of running just for running's sake.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, so I'm a member of the Long Distance Walking Association, and one of the things that they say is that the only preparation for walking a long distance is walking a long distance.
I did the 3 peaks last year, and I like that idea of endurance. By the time I got to the last peak, I thought, why have I done this? And I'll never want to do this again. And by the time I got down, I thought, well, maybe I could do it quicker next year.
Yeah.
So there's something about that.
And it's also a great excuse for a warm bath when you get home. Again, fan of.
It's really funny. We stayed in a B&B that had a hot tub in the back. And I said when we booked our I'll be in that hot tub after the walk. Because everyone says that, but they're all too tired. I tell you, I dragged myself into that hot tub, determined.
Yeah.
So that's it. Your exercise can be self-care, and your self-care can be exercise. They don't have to be arduous and punishing. And also, if you feel that if you're striving always for that idea of perfection, which we've talked about before, the chance of failing are very high.
Yeah.
Where if you're striving to do things or to find things, you can just be on a journey of exploration.
Yeah.
You know, I don't think I've ever quite found the physical activity that I really enjoy doing. I'm still looking, and maybe there's some joy in just always looking.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.